Hi there. Welcome to a new video. This is the AMA episode, the long-awaited Ask Me Anything episode. So, as if you remember, about 4 weeks ago, we hit 100 subscribers, and I sort of asked people to ask questions, and we're going to answer them now. I've looked in the post box, and we've got literally 4 questions. That's good. It's good. Nice round number, and it means this video won't drag. So. Let's ask the question. So, first question up is from Uncle Noodles, who asks, "Why does 2 + 2 = 5?" It's a good question. So, there are 3 answers. Short answer is it doesn't. The longer answer is it doesn't. And the third answer is here's a link to a video. Well, it might be over here, but probably here. Which seems to show that it can under certain circumstances, but I think they're fudging their maths a bit, and I think they're doing that just to sort of do like a little party piece. So there's a video there, or there. Okay. Next question is from it's from my brother. It's from my brother Mike, and he asks, "What was the public domain issue that I tweeted about?" Well, it's a good question. It's real simple administrative error on my part, basically. Sometimes I'm able to have a surfeit of videos, and sometimes I'm able to have more videos ready, and so I've got some ready to go. They're uploaded on the channel and they're unlisted, but it does mean that they're available for YouTube's various algorithms, and it was the copyright claim algorithm which said this is using copyrighted music, and usually I go out of my way to make sure I'm using open source, public domain, or CC0 music. So I did a bit of digging, and what I was assumed was a public domain piece of music turned out wasn't a public domain piece of music. So essentially I re-edited the video, re-uploaded the video, left it a few days, and everything's fine. Next question is from Teresa Del Pilar. Now, if you've not subscribed to Teresa Del Pilar's channel, I want you to take a second, open a new tab, look for Teresa Del Pilar, TeresaDelPilar, look for her channel and give it a subscribe. She's a great comic artist. She's doing some really great work. She's got a webtoon series. It's called Graduation Nightmares, and we've cropped up in various anthologies over the years. You know, I applied for an anthology, get accepted onto it, and then Teresa's got a piece in there as well. Brilliant. She's a great artist. She's a great artist. She's a great YouTuber, and she's very good at sort of talking about the process of learning and improving as an artist, which actually is quite an interesting thing to sort of talk and think about. So, in answer to your question, Teresa, this is a long question, so let's all strap in for the answer. I love anthologies. I love the idea that you can have a book with 5 or 6 or maybe 10 different stories, different styles, genres, approaches to sort of laying out stories, and they're all linked by a theme or subject. It's great to see other people's takes on the same inspiration. I also like to think of them as a bit like a live brief, a mini live brief. You've got a deadline you've got to meet, you've got a page count you've got to hit, you've got a subject matter you've got to sort of write about, you've got a genre that you might need to use, or things like this. And so my approach to anthologies has always been fairly scattershot. It's if I see an anthology that's after submissions, I'll submit something. You can pretty much guarantee I'll submit something, and it becomes at this point it becomes a numbers game. Am I accepted more than I'm rejected? Then we're doing okay, and that's generally the case. Last year, the anthology submission scene was difficult. The year started off. We'd written a script for a Dracula anthology, and I think Teresa had been accepted onto it as well. And by March, that had gone. A bunch of anthologies, they just sort of stopped, went on permanent hiatus, or just abandoned the project totally. Did do 2 anthology submissions for 2 books relating to COVID PPE stuff. So I did Foreign Presses, Pandemics in Panels, and Grit City Copy, Grit, and Grit City Comics, Heroes Wears Masks. Did a 4-page and a 2-page for those, and they were great. They were great stories. Did a couple of other very small ones, but really a lot of the anthology submissions that I'd sent off, a lot of them sort of withered and died on the vine. Or is what we're happening now, which so towards the end of last year, some anthologies were starting to gear up and getting people interested. And I signed up for as many as I could find, as I usually do. But what I found was that deadlines were starting to get pushed back. So if you have a deadline, say, in June, and you have someone's got a deadline in, say, March, and you go, oh, okay, that's great, I've still got 3 months or so between these two, and this deadline gets moved back, and this deadline gets moved back, and moved back, and moved back. Suddenly, you've now got 2 anthologies with submission dates that are pretty much the same. So that's been something of a problem. Last year, I had about 8 anthology submissions on the go, juggling at various stages. But I could talk about this stuff. Let's take a second. Let's take a look at some of my production charts, and we can sort of look at what we've got. Okay, this is the production chart for 2020, as you can see. So to sort of talk you through how it works, a description of the pages there, different stages of the production of the page, whether or not the page is published or not, and its rough percentage. So if you did thumbnails, so for example, if you set something to be thumbnailed, there you go, it's 14% of the page done. So let's go through and look at some of these pages. So Spacetober, that's Space Crash, and we had to do a number of different pages. So this was to turn a 31-page book into a viable 40-page book. So that's the first lot I did. But here's Cryptid Story. This was a submission for an anthology. We submitted, got rejected. This is a 4-page story for an anthology about robot stories. Submitted, didn't get accepted. Red Stylo, Dracula's anthology. We wrote an 8-page story. It was submitted, and that was actually abandoned. This was one about 2020, a 4-page story about how it could be, a kind of attempt to look on the positives of 2020. But I wrote a 4-page story, and didn't get accepted. I'm not surprised. And so here's a bunch of miscellaneous pages that we've done. So most of these are 1-page stories. Some of these are comic jam pieces. Some of them are mini comics that we did during lockdown. So lots of mini comics. A couple of ideas here which didn't get in. An 8-page story for an anthology called Elsewhere. That was a 4-page story. It was called, what was it called? Something like Disposable Man. It was a kind of a spy type of thing. Here is an anthology that I did, which got rejected, but has since been picked up by the Awesome Comics DUI anthology, which comes out later this year. 4-page platform comics. I did that with Doug Wood. And then here is the first anthology and second anthology submission, an 80s anthology submission, and the Florida Man anthology submission, and a Neverland one, and a request. Someone asked me to do a 3-page comic. So let's go through these ones, shall we? These were all started October, end of last year. The deadline for this one is due this year, September. This one is a Peter Pan comic. The Kickstarter has recently finished. It's funded. It's going to print right now. This one, nothing really came of it. It's done. I'll show you subsequently. It's been done, and we shall see. And this was a very quick project for somebody who asked for some help. So that was all I did on 2020. It looks like a lot, but not really. So here we go. First up, you can see Space Crash issue 2, all done. Some of these projects have been carried over from last year. So Max Velocity, Kurt Burner. It just needs colouring and text. That 80s slasher anthology, it's done. It just needs to go off. That Florida Man anthology submission, we're in the process of colouring it, and we just need to put text and borders in. The Neverland stuff went off on the 1st of March, so everything's done, but it's not published yet because the book isn't published. This was a workshop for something else. In the meantime, I submitted a 4-page Max and Kurt story to Little Heroes Anthology. We submitted another 4-page story for Max and Kurt to the Awesome Comics DUI anthology, which they rejected, but they did pick up that other script that we talked about. So, swings and roundabouts. This is a 10-page story for foreign press. This is the Fletcher Cross anthology, which I'm part of. And then we have these two. So this was the submission to a robots anthology, which has just gone off. This was another submission to the DUI Comics anthology, which has been accepted. Obviously, hasn't been published yet. We've got some Comics Jam stuff, which is in production. So these are all the things I'm working on, but we can talk about various anthologies. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's 7 anthologies over the last year or so. So that's my production chart. Hopefully that's been interesting. So let's go back to the office. Okay, and that's the production chart. I think this is a good question from Teresa, and I think at some point we will revisit anthologies. Yeah. Final question. Final question on the AMA comes from Sideburns, and he asks, "What are my comic plans for 2021?" Well, they're kind of a bit vague, actually. There's no real plans. It's just these are things I have to do. So, issue 2 of Space Crash will be out. It'll go to the printers end of the month, which means it will be out in June. This is what front cover will look like. Between then, I've got to get a 10-page anthology story done, and then I've got an 8-page anthology. No, a 12-page anthology story to be done by September. I've coloured a quarter of that already, so it's this is all doable. At that point, I think we'll just coast for a bit. I'll be writing some more Space Crash, I suppose. I have to write some more Space Crash. Then probably towards the end of the year, I'll start on Space Crash issue 3. I want that out by sort of November, I reckon. And that's the plans for the year. So yeah. And I think that's pretty much it. I think that's our AMA. So if you can keep on liking, commenting, sharing us. Bleh. It's interesting that about a month ago when we hit 100 subscribers, we sort of said, ask me anything. And now we're answering those questions. And at the time of recording, we've 137 subscribers. So this is great. This is really good. It's like a subscriber a day. So for all the new subscribers, thank you for subscribing. I hope you like this. I'll continue to make fun, interesting, and entertaining videos, and I hope you continue to enjoy watching them. Next video is going to probably be a colouring video. We'll probably do some colouring. I think I want to get some inking done as well. I've got some comic page I need to ink, so I think we'll look at that as well. But immediate video, next video, colouring video. I think it's enough often. I'm starting to ramble. It's time to call it and get this done. So you'll take care. I'll see you soon. All right, bye now.